Okay.
All right.
Thank you all for being here today. You want to start by telling your ages and name?
Hello, my name is Ann, and I'm 60.
I'm Catherine, I'm 49.
I'm Casey, I'm 32.
Okay, let's start off with the first question. What is the very first thing you can remember in your life, and go back as far as you can, and how old were you in this memory?
I think I was about 3, and I was living in a little pink house in Nares, Virginia, and now I know that the sound I heard was a sonic boom, but at that time I did not know what that was, and I was convinced that there was a giant walking down the street, so I ran and hid under my bed.
I was also 3. I was at my lake cabin at the time in my underwear, and I was playing with my sister, who was 5 years older. So I was 3, she was 8, and she had one of those red straws with the stuff you squirt out of a tube and put it on the end, and you blow the bubble, and she would throw it in the lake and say, "Oh, I lost it." And I said, "Well, I'll get it." And I jumped in, and right as my feet left the dock, I thought, you know what? I can't swim. So I remember looking up and seeing the light in the brown water, and I wasn't scared. I knew I was going to come up, but she jumped in and saved me.
I was 2 or 3, I can't remember exactly, but I remember my mom had been out of town and I was really excited for her to be home. So I have 2 older brothers, and I was there alone with my dad and my brothers, so I couldn't wait for my mom to be home. And I had on a silk nightgown, and they had a silk, like a slick bedspread, and I jumped up on her bed and I fell and broke my collarbone.
Aww.
And I remember riding in the back of, I don't know if it was my dad's car or my mom's van, but I remember seeing like street lights. I don't remember it hurting, but I remember having to wear a brace. And
The theme of this is trauma.
Yeah. Yes, it
That is so true. A lot of information processing is what I hear. So, okay, the second question. When you think about yourself in your life as a teenager, what is the first thing you can remember about that time? And what were the pleasant things about your adolescence? Any unpleasant things? Anything?
Oh, wow, that's tough. It's been a long time since I was a teenager, and I think I've blocked some of it. I do remember thinking that I just knew everything. I was pretty convinced. And that my mom and dad did not know what they were talking about when they told me about don't hang out with this person, or don't hang out with that person, and don't smoke, and I did all those things. So probably it wasn't especially traumatic, but my friend Helen Newman and I used to steal cigarettes off her daddy's piano and go to the woods and smoke them. And we had stolen us a pack of Salem's, gone to the woods, smoked them all, came home, and her sister had told on us, her bratty sister Kathy, who was 5. So as retaliation, we melted Kathy's brand new box of 96 Crayolas while she watched and cried. And of course, we both got in a lot of trouble and had to go to town and buy her new crayons. But other than that, I think I was a pretty good kid.
You have a lot of pleasant and unpleasant.
I had a lot of pleasant memories.
Yeah.
I did. I really did. But that's just a funny one that always comes to mind.
Teenager, so like 13 is where you're. I went to a really small school, but I had a really good group of friends. There were 5 of us, and we still keep in touch to this day. But I remember being really aware that my hair didn't look as good in pictures as I thought it did at the time. I had a lot of perms, and I was overweight. None of my friends were overweight, and I always felt like I was the ugly one. I was bad. But anyway, I had a lot of perms, and I was like right on the precipice of getting a good hairdo, but then I went back to a perm. So I remember being real uncomfortable with my appearance as a teenager.
I also remember being really friend focused. It was all about my friend group. That's who I wanted to be with friends all the time. I think I was probably a nightmare. My mom said she doesn't remember me being like that, but I remember just being a lot of nerves and tears and hormones, but my mom doesn't seem to remember it that way.
You were good. I knew you back then.
Inside it felt different.
Okay, question number 3. On the whole, what kind of life do you think you have had? And if you were going to live your life over again, what would you change, leave unchanged? Can you describe any of that?
I have had a good life. I've had a very good life. I had parents that loved me, that were very supportive. My parents are still alive. They're both still vibrant people. I have a close family. I'm close with my brother and my sister. Probably, I wouldn't change anything, even though I've been through a divorce and remarried. I wouldn't change any of that. The only thing I would probably change, and again, y'all are going to think I'm just a pure heathen. One time when I was young and stupid, I had gone out with my friends and probably drank too much. I was probably 20 at the time. That's when the legal drinking age was 18, so I was not a criminal. But I fell and broke my ankle. And I was out all night because I was at the ER. And of course, my mom was super worried about me when I finally rolled in the wee hours of the morning, and it was Mother's Day. So I really just disappointed her. And I wish I hadn't done that. That would be a thing I would take away.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had a good life too. Had supportive parents, close extended family. I don't know what I would change except perms. And I feel like I was lazy, or I think I know that I had really bad allergies growing up, and not that I would sneeze all the time, but I had a headache. And therefore, I think I didn't want to go outside. I wanted to be lazy because I felt bad. And I think that kind of contributed to my disdain of exercise, of all things exercise. So if I had to change something, I think I would probably go back, treat the allergies, and be more active physically. But all in all, I wouldn't change anything really. I've had a good life. I like my life.
I've had a good life. I have great parents. They live up the road from my son and I. We're really close to them. I wouldn't change having my son at a young age, because I'm going to be young when he graduates high school. I think I would have listened to my mother more, would have she made sense. My dad too, but just about that.
Okay, awesome. What is your definition of maturity, and what is your definition of wisdom?
That one's tough. Maturity, I think, can be biological as well as psychological, so definitely mature biologically. Maturity, I guess, in a way, to me, is more about how you handle your emotional interactions with other people. Can you control your anger? Can you think before you speak? But wisdom, that's like maturity on another level to me. I don't know how to explain it. I guess part of wisdom is being able to reflect back on things and see where maybe I made a mistake, and if I had an opportunity to correct something, I would do it. Or even, and I have done this, even go back to somebody who I felt like had done me wrong at the time, and maybe I lashed out or was real ugly. I went back and apologized to that person and said, I didn't think about it at the time, but I probably didn't handle that very well. So maybe that's wisdom.
I think maturity for me would be making a choice to do the right thing when you don't want to do it. It's not just about what you want to do all the time, in the moment. And then wisdom, like Ann was saying, you make decisions based on what you know or what your past experiences have been. And also wisdom is something you hopefully share with not just little kids, younger kids, but co-workers who might be new on the scene, or I just think wisdom in my life has to do a lot with my past experiences and what I've learned from them.
I think they go kind of hand in hand, and as you, like Ann was saying, with how you react and respond to situations. And as you mature and you gain more wisdom about situations, I'm not going to respond and react to something the same way I would have 5 years ago, or even 6 months ago.
Okay, thank you. When in college, what was your concentration, your major? When did you start searching for a career? When did you first develop this interest? Why did you choose that field? And do you explore several career options, or did you?
I did explore more than one career option. My first attempt at college was unsuccessful, probably because of my smoking and drinking. So I dropped out at 19 and entered the workforce, but that was not a negative experience for me. I gained a lot of really practical experience. I started off in bookkeeping, and over the course of 15 years, gained a lot of experience in marketing and payroll, taxes, so just good job skills, period. But a situation at my last job led me back, kind of gave me the opportunity to go back to college, and my parents really encouraged me to do that. By that time I was divorced, and I had a child about to enter elementary school, so we just both went to school together. And I had started off, I was going to go back and do something in medicine, like a quick technical degree just to get out and get a job. And I had a history teacher that was just phenomenal, and I changed my mind. And I can remember the day I went home and I told my dad, even though I was 33 at the time, I said, "You're going to kill me, but I've changed my major again." And he said, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I said, "I want to be a history teacher." And he said, "Well, it's about time." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Don't you remember talking to me when you were in high school that you wanted to be a teacher just like Coach Hodge?" And I said, "I don't even remember talking about that." He said, "You used to talk about it all the time." So somewhere I lost sight of that, and it just kind of came on back. So that's what I do now, and it's amazing, and it's the best job ever.
I wanted to be an elevator operator and push the buttons in the Omni Hotel in Atlanta. And that was how I was 4. I figured it would be less stress. They were clear, you could see out. But my undergraduate degree is in foreign service. And I think I've always been fascinated by strangers and staring at people and wondering where they're from. And so that kind of led me to want to live in an embassy overseas. And you see, I've made it as far as Laval. But I also did want to be a teacher my whole life. My grandparents were teachers, and we played school and things like that. But when I was in undergraduate school, I knew that I could not get up early enough to work at a school. That was just ridiculous. And so I didn't, that's why I chose foreign service. But anyway, went back to school, got my master's, became a teacher, taught history, and then I got a little burnt out in the classroom and decided that I loved working at a school, but I just wanted a little more freedom within the walls. So I went back and got an EDS in school counseling, and I really like it. So I still stare at people, want to know their stories. So that kind of all blends together in a weird non-mixture way.
I always thought I wanted to be a teacher, and then I got through one semester of college, and I ended up becoming pregnant, and then I had my son, and I thought, I don't want a classroom full of 30 of these, so we veered, and I went into mental health, because I always thought about doing counseling, but I always heard that there was no money in it, it was just, psychology wasn't a good field. That's what I had been told, but I got my bachelor's in psychology anyway and did case management for a few years, and I thought, this is exhausting, but I liked being around people and kids, but and my favorite part was seeing people at school. So that's when a coworker said, well, what about doing school counseling. And so that's when I went back and got my master's in school counseling.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, the next question is, what values or morals are important to you? Why are they important? And when do you feel they developed?
I think loyalty is important to me.
You stole my answer.
Well, I'll talk about another one as well.
Okay.
Loyalty, and I think I was just born into a family of people who valued that. That doesn't mean that we always had to agree with one another or support one another if somebody in the family was doing something wrong. But it was just like my sister always lived by this rule, that she could whip me, but nobody else was going to. So, family loyalty, and at the same time, loyalty to your personal beliefs, your personal convictions, loyalty at work, even to my coworkers, and to the kind of to our school mission statement. You know, I believe in that. That probably was took longer to develop, that sense of loyalty that was related to my job. But I think loyalty, yeah, for sure.
I totally agree, and if you think about it, it can go in all aspects of your life. I too was born into a family that valued that, but only because I'm from Alabama, and you had to be loyal to either Auburn or Alabama. So from the beginning, you had to make a choice, and there really was only one choice, so it was Auburn. And then other people who were for Alabama, you pitied them. But anyway, your family loyalty to your job, I'll expand on that a little bit. I really feel like that's important, and a lot of people don't get that we work with. We have some people that post on Facebook things that I don't think are very flattering to the school as a whole. I don't think it's flattering to education as a whole. I think that some people just don't get that, and to me, I'm embarrassed, and it hurts me to see other educators publicly downplay what we're trying to do here every day. So loyalty there, and then of course to your family. Thanks.
Mine is respect. I think it's respect for others and respect for yourself. And being in a high school setting, we see some educators that expect all the respect from the students but give none back. And I don't care if you're 15 or 40, I think that you should give the respect that you expect back. And you should also respect yourself. And if you're not going to show that to other or model it for other people, then why should they do that? And we don't know what, I guess my biggest thing is we don't know what these kids see at home, and we see them, they don't get any respect from their parents. Of course they're not respecting their parents, so they need to see it somewhere. And I'll try to show anybody respect no matter where I am, rather it be the elevator pusher or the president, or my boss. I just try to show everybody the respect that I would want from other people.
Great, thank you. Okay, number 7. What role do your parents play in your life now? What role do other family members play in your life now?
Wow, my family plays a big role because my mom still likes to boss all of her adult children around. And this is a prime example this week. She was receiving an award in Nashville, and she called all of her adult children and said, I expect you to be there. I'll buy your hotel room, but you're going to have to take it out from work and come. So we all showed up.
Perfect.
But we're kind of that family that we don't hide things from one another. We rally when somebody's having a difficult time. My daughter grew up knowing that if she got in trouble, she wasn't just going to face me, she was also going to face her grandmother, who she respects and loves and admires, but never wanted to disappoint. So they really, in that sense, helped me raise her, and they still help me raise her. She's an adult with a child of her own. What was the rest of that question?
What role your family members play?
Yeah,
I think you
Yeah, we're all each other's cheerleaders. My brother is, again, he's a fully grown man that does not have his own family. So my parents, even though, you know, they're way up there in age, still go to his ball games so that he has somebody there to cheer for him while he coaches. Yeah.
I'm close to my mother. My dad passed away in 2006, I think. But we also are close. My husband's an only child. His mother is at our house a lot. But a little bit different in the same way, but different than Ann's family. My family, always there for you, don't question it, but there is a level of palpable denial in my family that some things are kept from the older generation because we don't want to upset them. For example, my parents got divorced when I was 23. My grandfather died, let's just say I was 30, okay? So right before his death, he was told that my parents got divorced. And the reason was, we don't want to upset Lally. And so when he was told, his only response was, I thought everybody was happy. Because we had faked it for so long. But anyway, just not wanting to upset the apple cart a lot of the times. Not to say nothing bad ever happened and it was dealt with by my parents, but everybody just smiles and nods a lot of the time to get through some family Thanksgivings and stuff. We all bring our own cars. We get mad if we're blocked in. Not to say that we don't love each other and we support each other, but there is a level of, okay, see ya.
I can relate to that. My parents are my best friends. We have some boundary issues. I call my mom all the time and she calls me all the time. I'm close with one brother and his wife. We're really close. One brother I don't speak to at all. We've not spoken in over 2 years, so that's but it's for the best. We pray for him and we love him, but we have to love him from a distance. And when it's always been tumultuous, it's just we're better separate.
Thank you. Number 8. Okay, here we go. How old were you when you went on your first date? Tell me about it.
I'm trying to remember my very, very first one. I know I was 16 because we could not date until we were 16. And I'm trying to remember. I think it was with Greg Rayburn, and I can say his name because he doesn't live around here anymore. Or he never did. I grew up somewhere else. Yeah, it was Greg Rayburn. Went to the drive-in movies. Yes. He was dumb as a brick. Let me finish. My mom questioned why I was dating him, and I said, well, have you not looked at him? He's beautiful. Let me just get through homecoming so I can have some nice-looking dance pictures. And that was it. But he has not aged well.
I don't think I've ever been on a date. I really don't. I mean, I have a husband.
Really? He didn't take you on a date?
Yeah, I guess. But, I mean, I didn't date a lot. I never went on a, one-on-one date, I don't think. Maybe I did.